economic effects of COVID-19 on the world of work are proving to be far worse than the 2008-2009 financial crisis, with cutbacks equivalent to nearly 200 million full-time workers expected in the next 3 months alone. Namibia, like many other countries, has not been spared from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune brought about by the global pandemic. Joining us via Skype now is the Secretary General of the Namibia Employers Federation Daan Strauss to shed some light on the impact that COVID-19 is having on employers. A very good evening to you, Daan, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you.
Thank you so much. Daan, how would you describe the impact of COVID-19 on employers in the country at this moment in time?
Well, we are extremely worried that many businesses will not survive. The crisis will see many job losses. Also, from a labor perspective, we are much concerned about the new directives from the Ministry of Labour, which now puts the employer in a whole new ball game. Many of the employers already took measures with their staff, and now, after the new directives have been published, many employees now believe their employers acted unlawfully. So we are extremely worried about the current situation, but it is continuing, and we hope to keep up communications with the Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation.
Dan, which industries would you say are some of the most hardest hit by the pandemic?
Well, definitely tourism and construction was very hard hit, and we expect many job losses. In fact, there have already been a number of job losses. When business owners had to decide on the economic situation of their own businesses, negotiations with their staff, what would be fair, and it is just a very unfortunate situation that many businesses are not going to make it.
How has the engagement with workers' unions been since the declaration of the state of emergency? I mean, usually employers and unions, when they clash, usually at loggerheads. But now we are we're in a situation where we need to work together. How would you describe the relation between the unions and the employers?
Well, at this point in time, I would say it's still very amicable. We are very fortunate that the ministry have invited us, both the unions and the employers, and we had a number of meetings with the ministry during which we informed the ministry of the dire plight of employers. So we have been meeting, and at this point in time, the relation is still very amicable. Although with the publishing of the new directives, we are foreseeing a number of problems with employers simply not being able to comply with the nature of the new directives.
How have some employers welcomed government intervention during this crisis? And in particularly, I want you to speak about the stimulus package.
Well, everybody expressed much gratitude for the stimulus package, but no one at this point in time really knows the who, what, where, and when of how businesses will be able to access the support. We are still waiting on the Ministry of Finance to make those directives clear. So we are all a bit confused and in limbo at this point in time with regard to the stimulus package, but we are very grateful that it is, as it has been announced on the 1st of April, it is just a matter of putting the administrative workings together to let employers know how they can access this assistance.
Lastly, Dan, now you obviously have an opportunity to speak to a lot of these employers on a daily basis. What is your message to those employers who are currently contemplating the tough decision of letting some of their employees go because they simply just can't any longer?
Well, yeah, that is a fact. We are now trying to advise that in light of the new directives, that the employment relationship not be broken at this point in time, whatever measures they take economically. But that is extremely difficult because many employers have already taken measures to deal with the crisis. And unfortunately, we will have to go back to the table. We will have to take hands and deal with this problem together.
All right, Dan, thank you so much for your time. I wholeheartedly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, that was Daan Strauss, the Secretary General of the Namibia Employers Federation, speaking to us about the impact of COVID-19 on employers in the country.